Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most important and, let's be real, one of the most confusing documents you'll ever see in your child's education. We're talking about the Individualized Education Program, better known as the IEP.
And let's just start with this because I think it hits home for so many parents. You know that feeling, right? You're sitting at a table, people are using all these acronyms, you're nodding along, but inside you feel completely lost. Well, if that's you, you're in the right place. We're going to fix that. Okay, so what is an IEP, really? When you strip away all the jargon, it's a promise. It's a legally binding document that's basically a roadmap just for your child. It says, here's where your child is, here are the goals we're setting for them, and here's exactly what the school is going to do to help them reach those goals. And that word, individualized, that's the whole point. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Every good plan has to start somewhere, right? In an IEP, that starting point, the absolute foundation for everything else, is what's called the present levels. Now, this part has a crazy long acronym, the PLAFP. Don't worry about memorizing that. Just think of it as a snapshot of your child, right now. It should be packed with real data that shows where they are, both academically and in their everyday skills. And here's the key. It has to include their strengths, not just their needs. We're not just listing what's hard. We're painting a full picture of your kid. Okay, so you're looking at this section, how do you know if it's any good? How do you spot problems? Well, this is where you put on your detective hat, because there are some big red flags you should absolutely be looking for. So for example, if you see something super vague, like struggles with tasks, that's a red flag. You should be asking, which tasks? How do you know? Another one, is the data old? If it's from over a year ago, it's not a present level, is it? And a huge one, if it only talks about what your child can't do, or if it feels like someone just copied and pasted last year's report, yeah, you've got to speak up. All right, so once we have that solid foundation, that really good snapshot of your child, we can build the rest of the house. This next part is the roadmap. It's the action plan that says, okay, what are we actually going to do? And that action plan starts with the annual goals. Think of these as the destinations for the school year. And they have to connect directly back to the needs we just talked about in the present levels. You can't just pull them out of thin air. And they can't be, fuzzy or vague. They have to be crystal clear. So clear that there's no argument about whether your child met them or not. And this is such a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Look at the difference. On one side you have, we'll improve reading. I mean, what does that even mean? It's a nice thought, but it's not a goal. Now look at the other side. That's a SMART goal. It's specific, you can measure it, it's time-bound, you know exactly what success looks like and how you'll know when you get there. That's what you want to see. Okay, so we have the destination, the goals. Now, how are we going to get there? What's the vehicle? That's the services section. This part spells out exactly what help the school is promising to provide. And it has to be specific. We're talking frequency, duration, location, who, what, where, when, all of it. Now, when you're reading through the services section, there's a sneaky little two-word phrase that pops up all the time. And if you see it, I want you to pause. Because this little phrase can basically make the school's promise disappear. And that phrase is, as needed. Uh-oh. As needed is a giant red flag. Why? Because it's a loophole. It's not a commitment to do anything. Who decides when it's needed? It's not measurable. It's not enforceable. You want to see real numbers like 30 minutes 2 times a week, not as needed. So we've got the goals and we've got the services. The next logical piece of the puzzle is, where is all this learning going to happen? And how will it happen? This section covers the supports and the setting. Okay, listen up, because this is so important. You have to know the difference between accommodations and modifications. They sound similar, but they are worlds apart. An accommodation changes how your child learns. Think extra time on a test. It just levels the playing field. But a modification changes what your child is expected to learn. It changes the curriculum itself, and that can have a huge impact on the line, even on their ability to get a diploma. So you have to be really clear which one you're talking about. And this all ties into a really important legal concept called the least restrictive environment, or LRE. Basically, the law says that kids with disabilities have a right to be in class with their non-disabled peers as much as possible. The default should always be the general education classroom. If the team decides on a different setting, they have to have a really, really good reason for it. So we've gone through all these parts of the document, the present levels, the goals, the services, the setting. But you know what?
none of it means a thing without the most important person on the team. And that person is you.
So let's talk about your role as an advocate. I want you to burn this checklist into your brain. Number one, you are not just a guest at the table. You are a full, legal, equal member of the IEP team. Your voice carries weight. Two, always ask for a draft of the IEP before the meeting. That gives you time to read it, think about it, and come prepared. Three, there's no such thing as a dumb question. If you don't get something, ask. Make them explain it. And finally, number four, you never, ever have to sign that document on the spot. You can take it home, sleep on it, and get a second opinion. Don't let anyone pressure you.
So, when it all comes down to it, what does this all mean? It means that, yeah, the school staff are the experts on education, for sure. But you are the world's leading expert on one very important subject, your child. And that makes you an indispensable part of the team. The IEP is just the tool that helps you make your voice heard, to make sure that expertise gets put into a plan that will help your child succeed. You've got this.